Hi guys, hope you're well. One of the questions I get asked all the time is how, for a small business, for a solo entrepreneur, how do you really kind of drive and manage a sales pipeline when you've got so much stuff going on, you're trying to spin all these plates, and you're trying to drive forward the future of your kind of business, but truth be told, you've never really been taught how to do it. So this video is going to be 6 or 7 minutes. I'm going to share with you with some free kind of downloads, free software, a very basic kind of CRM, but the hope is it actually helps you put in place the genuine things to help you kind of get to where you want to be. So I'm going to share the software and the techniques and the things that I do. I'm going to tell you why I do it. I'm going to give you the codes for things to add into your kind of existing systems. And again, it's that kind of thing, trying to add real value that I genuinely think will make kind of a real difference to your business. So I'm going to click to the kind of computer now, but if you've got any questions, kind of feel free to get in touch. So this is it. This is the kind of sales spreadsheet which you can download. It's at growthstrategyroadmap.com. It's completely free, and the idea is that for anyone who might be new to running the sales pipeline, they've never really done it before, or they just want to get some ideas about things they could do to help their kind of performance improve, this is the kind of a good place to start. So one of the things I'm keen to do, I'm going to talk you through it. A lot of it will seem obvious, but that's because it is. But actually, I genuinely think that if you don't currently manage your kind of business contacts and things like this currently, I think it will help you kind of make a big kind of step forward. So on the left, there's 5 kind of main columns. You have company. It is what it is. This is the name of the person that you want to stay in touch with. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sales contact lead, but actually you'll know what I mean. There's people who add value to your business and your network. And as you're kind of running around doing everything, to actually keep track of all these people is harder than it looks. So again, it's the client, it's the person, it's the name. And again, I would almost break this down to have multiple contacts within the same company. Just keep track of all the people you kind of interact with. Okay, so next column is last contact. So this is quite simply, you enter the date into the spreadsheet. So that in the example, 29th of November is last time I spoke to client number 2. And the next column is arguably almost the best bit, the cleverest bit about the spreadsheet. It works out both the number of days it's been since you last spoke to them, but actually it's conditionally formatted. So what this means is that the columns, they start green at 0, and between 0 and 180 days, so 6 months, which in my opinion is the longest you should ever leave it without kind of like getting in touch with people, still talking to them. And essentially it goes from green to red over 6 months, and then as you build up your numbers, it's a very visual way to scroll through, and you'll see very quickly who you haven't spoken to in a while. It's a very simple, easy trick or hack, but it works very easily for me. And likewise, if you want to look at the code to either just do it yourself or add it to your own kind of spreadsheet, it's at the top. So basically it's the previous cell minus today in capitals and in brackets, and what it does, it works out the kind of number. You can use it for anything. And then I added on the kind of conditional formatting to actually change it from green to red, which again, if you don't know how to do, I will show you. So you go to the top where it says conditional formatting, you will click on it, and then go to manage rules because I already have it in place. And then essentially I do a graded colour scale between 0 and 180, red to green, because again it's negative, so it's the number of days since. And then actually you select the cells, and it's piece of piss, that's it. But actually it's a good kind of trick and something to kind of keep in mind. Okay, so the next one, the whole point of a sales pipeline is to develop sales. So what I do is I have multiple different kind of categories. When I first approach someone, I treat everyone as a friend, and I always try and add as much value as I can. So I have category number 4 is classed as a supportive friend for me, and then if there is any potential opportunity, I gradually work it up. I have a separate category for network organisations. So network organisations bring a huge amount of value to your business. It's a great way to meet new people. And actually, when they have events, it's a great way to see multiple people at one time. So for instance, your physical time is almost one of your most valuable assets. Again, working with and adding value to all the different trade bodies that give you access to more people is massively valuable. So again, I kind of keep track of that. Excuse me. On funders, so for me, I work with a lot of companies who are looking to grow, but likewise, if I'm looking to make an investment in someone, I try and stay in and kind of build relationships with your banks, your fund providers, your accountants, your various different kind of people, that if I'm looking to raise investment for a certain thing, or a company is looking at different options, the more credible I am and the better known I am within certain kind of key people, it's a real unlocker for my business. So I keep track of those people. It's not actually a sales approach, but it still adds value, so therefore I track it and kind of make sure I'm doing it. Sales leads, so this is the obvious, it is what it is. It's when you know there's an opportunity there. It might not be ripe yet, but you know, it's kind of on the process. And then at some point, as you develop your kind of sales pipeline, develop your client contacts, when you understand their pain points and stuff they're looking at, that would then develop through into a strong sales lead. And then at the top, your clients. So I always put my clients in gold in my kind of spreadsheet. And the reason I do that is because I think it's massively important to make people feel valued, make them feel wanted. They are the most important thing in my business, bar none. And likewise, even if that client, you've almost finished a piece of work, they'll always stay at the top of the list, because actually it's, for one, it's easier to kind of sell back into someone that's already kind of bought your product or service. But actually, you know, they are, your business doesn't run without them. So I quite literally, I put them in gold and they'll always stay at the top. And for me, that's kind of an important thing. Okay, so as you scroll across, you have different comments to do with the comments. So basically this is, you know, obvious, your notes on your different clients. I accept that if you have a bigger sales team with a much more distributed resource, you need to add more information. That's where kind of a more complicated CRM system comes in. But for a lot of solo entrepreneurs who kind of tend to get in touch, I think this will work quite well. Next actions, estimated bills, have you invoiced them? How long's it been? Have they paid? Again, as your numbers start to kind of grow up, it's important to kind of keep track of this. Okay, so that's the basics of running the sales pipeline, how to keep track of people, how long's it been, where are they in the process, etc. One of the important things for me, it's actually driving the pipeline. So for my business, I know that I try and convert, or the truth is that 3% of my buyers, of anyone's buyers, are ready to buy at any one time. So that means that if you approach 100 people, 97 of them, they might still be a potential customer, but they're just not ready to buy yet, which is absolutely fine. And you still want to add as much value as you can and still, you know, help them however you can. Kind of stay on their radar. But actually, for my business, I'm looking to get to a point where I have 9 customers at any one time, and that's my kind of goal. So based on that and based on the 3% rule, if you look down the left on this example spreadsheet, it goes up to 44. So again, where I need to get that to if I want to get to 9 customers is I need to get that number to 300, at least 300. I want to get it more, I want to get to 6, 7, I want to get to 1,000. But my point is, I can't ever expect to get to my 9 customer goal unless I chain the pipeline. So that's where I reach out to different people, see who's doing what, and actually just kind of add value as much as I can to the network, in the hope that when opportunities do come up, people kind of will get in touch. I'm going to show you how I do that. So I'm going to switch to my LinkedIn. So I'm going to go down to Google Chrome, and I've already done this, kind of prepped it. So I've gone to my network and then connections. So you'll see that I have 16,855 connections as of today. I went to an event last night, so I've got some new friends in there, and it adds up the most recent people. But actually, for driving a sales pipeline, you want to organize by first name. And then what this does, I always seem to have a few random ones at the start, but if you scroll down slightly, you'll get your AA's, so your Aarons, your Adams, your Alexes, etc. And what essentially I do for my business, but it's probably kind of true for your business as well, it's I'm looking for decision makers in the northeast of England who I think I can add value to. That's because that's the lowest hanging fruit to me. It's within, say, an hour or so's drive. And actually, if they picked up the phone and said, look, Steve, can you come in this afternoon? The answer is yes. Is where if I was approaching people in London, for instance, it's harder to do. So I'm not saying in the future I won't be approaching people further away, but again, as you start the business, you always want to start with your closest to home, lowest hanging fruit. So you would go through all of your contacts, looking at, okay, who's a decision maker, who's in your local area that's a potential client. Then you have your kind of your sales message or your approach, which I'll cover in kind of a separate video. But my point is, you go through and you find the people you want to speak to, and that is how every time you send a message, you add it into the pipeline to be 45, 46, 47, and that's where you want to get to your 300, your 400, your 500, based purely on the kind of 3% rule of wherever you're trying to take your business to. I think that's about it, but if you've got any questions, kind of please feel free to get in touch. You can download this spreadsheet completely for free from my website, which is growthstrategyroadmap.com. All of the techniques and stuff I've talked about are available in the book. They're available for free. But if you've got any questions or you just want to know anything about anything, kind of please feel free to reach out. Okay guys, thanks a lot. Bye bye.